Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a lot different from my regular videos. It is actually going to be a video on the preliminary hurricane season outlook for the year 2018. To be a quick little fact, I've actually never done this before, and I'm excited to do this, guys, for you because it's a new series and I've never done this before, so I'm excited. And let's just jump right into it. But before this video starts, I'd like to ask you guys two things. Please consider subscribing to my channel. It really helps out a lot. And please consider liking the video. It really helps out a lot also. And as you can see in the picture in the background, I have Hurricane Irma from last year in kind of a commemoration of the massive or so many lives that were lost. And just, it was a horrible hurricane season in the terms of destruction, damage, lives lost, property damage. I mean, this is Hurricane Irma. Then that was Hurricane Jose that also skimmed the coast. And then Hurricane Murray, which didn't hit America, but it hit Puerto Rico, just devastated. I think Puerto Rico is still not out of it, still wounded by all those hurricanes. But nevertheless, whether you want the hurricanes or not, hurricane season is coming, and let's just jump right into the video. So the first thing you'll need to look at is the ENCO outlook, and as you could see, it's predicted for it to be a neutral for much of the fall and summer. And you may be wondering, how does this even have anything to do with the hurricane season? Well, if you go on here, you can see that the typical El Nino influence is fewer hurricanes in the Atlantic season due to stronger vertical wind shear and trade winds. And if you don't know what that is, you can do some research on that. I did it, and it's actually very interesting. But I want to keep this video relatively short, so I won't go into it. But wind shear, if you really want to know, is basically if the winds turn in height, and if the trade winds are the ones that are lower in altitude, and the vertical or like the higher altitude winds are the, I don't know what they're exactly called, but they're the higher altitude winds. And if those are going in different directions, that's called wind shear, and that doesn't allow for storms to develop. So that's not really conducive of great hurricanes, major hurricanes. And if you go to the typical La Nina influence, you could see more hurricanes due to weaker vertical wind shear and trade winds, which means less wind shear and more chance given to develop major storms. So, a neutral ENCO like we have right here is going to be okay. So, a neutral ENCO right here is basically somewhere in between these two things. So that, based off that, it's going to be average hurricane season. However, guys, this is not set in stone. I mean, I'll give you a couple of examples. So look, we go forward. This is what the models look like as of now. If you go north of the 0 line, 1, 2 degrees above average, that is an El Nino. 0, 1, -1, -2, that's a La Nina. And as you can see, most models are trending for a weak El Nino or a weak La Nina. And the neutral is right there, so the neutral line, and a lot of them are in neutral, so they're just showing as it as neutral, but it could definitely turn into weak La Nina or weak El Nino, and there's still so much uncertainty left. And I just want to show you guys how much this can change. So you can see this is actually my old video. You can see there's a time bar. I took a screenshot of this, and this was actually, I made this video because I was making a winter outlook, or how much snow would fall this fall, something like that. It was over half a year ago, and you can see that it was predicted to be a neutral ENCO for the winter and the fall and the summer, and it was just supposed to dominate. So look closely at October, November, December, strong neutral, and this is what actually occurred. Look, October, November, December, strong La Nina. So a big difference, and this change occurred in less than a month, so this is a huge difference, huge change. Just goes to show you how much this graph can really change. This could change from a neutral to a strong El Nino, or to a strong La Nina, or to a weak El Nino to a weak La Nina, or it could stay the same. However, I'm thinking it might change to a La Nina, because originally they were showing an El Nino for the summer. Now they're showing a neutral, so it's getting weaker and weaker, and then the next thing they might show is a La Nina, so that might also occur. So this I already showed you, and this would also, and the next thing, and out of the few things that we'll need to look at, is the ocean temperatures. So the ocean temperatures are very important when it comes to predicting the hurricane season. So if hurricanes feed off of warm temperatures, and warm temperature is basically what gives the fuel for the storms. I mean, think about it. Thunderstorms thunderstorms are basically what makes up hurricanes, and thunderstorms only form in the summer across the north because of the warm temperatures. So it makes sense that the hurricanes form the best when the temperature is right for thunderstorm capacity or development. So you can see warm temperatures. This is what the anomaly is right now. So you can see some cooler conditions off of the coast of Africa, off the western coast of Africa, but overall the Atlantic Ocean is very, very warm. Warmer than average, at least. You could see that pretty much central Atlantic is warmer, even the northern Atlantic, the Gulf of Mexico is warmer, and even though we had quite a bit rough winter with some cold shots coming through, the ocean still remained above average, and now it won't drop below average because it looks as if the temperatures for the next several days or the next several months will be above average. So that means the ocean temperatures will also be above average. So it does seem that the hurricane season might be a little bit above average due to the fact that the temperatures are warmer, and an El Neutral is somewhere in between. So it's definitely not an El Nino, which shows weakness in the storm. So it's somewhere around neutral right now, which is around 0 points. But then warm temperature, that's another point. And less wind shear could be a second point. So this is definitely something we'll need to keep watching. I'll definitely do a couple of follow-up videos. And now this is the final reveal of when my video, what my hurricane preliminary outlook is. This is how it looks like. I know it's nothing special. It's pretty actually crappy, but what are you going to do? You could see that here's the USA, here's Canada, here's Europe, here's Africa, here's the Caribbean islands, and you could see that overall, I think that there will be more hurricanes across the Atlantic this year. It will not be nearly as brutal as last year. I hope not, and I don't think it will be based off the evidence. However, I still do think it will be slightly above average for much of the North Atlantic or just the Atlantic region, and I think the United States will need to prepare for this hurricane season. I don't think it will be like the ones in the past where there was literally nothing and below average. I think it will still be fairly above average, except not nearly as strong or brutal and dangerous as last year's. And keep in mind, last hurricane season wasn't really predicted. I mean, there wasn't really much talk about hurricanes because previous to last year's hurricane season, all the hurricane seasons were weak, no major hurricanes. And then all of a sudden, boom, a brutal hurricane season came out, just like 2005, and just massacred the coastline, the Bahamas, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. All those islands were massacred by this hurricane season. And that wasn't really predicted, so it just, there's a lot of uncertainty yet. So please stay tuned to my channel. There will be more follow-up videos. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please do so. It really helps out a lot. And also consider liking the video, and if you don't like the video, please tell me why in the comment section box below, because then I'll be able to improve my video. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the next episode.